I'm just going to do my slides because I don't think I can cope with it all. So, kia ora koutou, I'm Lesley Gardner, this is Richard, and we're the main kaitiaki of the Tuturi Whatu at Te Henga. We live at Te Henga, and we knew there were red dotterel on the beach, but we didn't really know anything about them for a long, long time personally. We knew they were rare. Turns out there are only about 2,500 in New Zealand. They're rarer than Kiwi, which is something we reiterate to people a lot, because when people hear that, they are a bit like, oh my God, we've got them on our beach. That's kind of special. Without human support, they won't survive. They're mainly on the east coast. We have one breeding pair, normally on Te Henga. And there are other dotterels do come and go a bit, but our two just chase them away, and we wish they would let some more dotterels stay. It would be nice to have the whole beach covered with dotterel. We learned recently that, this is the recent dotterel history at Bethells. In the early 2000s, we were getting 1, 2 or 3 chicks fledged every year. And then from 2011 onwards, even though trapping was happening all the time in the dunes, there were no chicks coming, which was a real pity. So the council asked if somebody could go and do a dotterel minding course down in Miranda with John Dowding, who's the dotterel expert in New Zealand. And Rich and I put up our hands. We were recently retired. We thought it sounded like kind of a fun scientific thing that we'd enjoy doing. And we came away from the course really inspired. We thought we could help protect our dotterels. And then, unfortunately, later that year when our dotterels first started breeding, when we were watching this, we were in the South Island at a wedding when the chicks hatched, was a pity. And by the time we got back, there was one left. But that one kept on going, and we kind of bumbled and fumbled our way through protecting this poor little chick. But we did lots of social media. That really, really worked, and we talked to a lot of people. And that chick survived, and the two parents were constantly watching it. We couldn't believe what amazing parents they were. It was really fascinating to watch. We watched them, they watched the chick. And then it survived, and we first saw it flying on Christmas Day, which was really, really fantastic, and then it flew away with its parents at the end of January. So that was great, and we thought, yay, we can do this, we've got it. And so this next breeding season, 2019, we thought, we're really going to succeed here. And we did so many things right. So we found the nest, which was great because we could keep a really discreet eye on what was going on. Richard made some shelters for the beach. And you can see the dotterels near. We never saw one in, but we often saw them there. We made some shelters for the dunes. We had 5 publicity days on the walkway over 2 weekends. And you can see Chloe just happened to walk past, which was kind of nice to see her from the Green Party. She was very interested in it. So we had quite a few people in our team by then, so they were great, and we wore our high-vis vests and talked to so many people going past. It was a really, really valuable thing to do. You can see already though one dog just kind of wandering along by itself. And we had some great locally made signs like this one. And the 3 chicks hatched and were seen several times over the next few days. They're so adorable, they really are cute. And occasionally both parents were with them, so that was good. But Dad was often seen on the beach having a bit of a bromance, because we don't often get kuaka on the beach, not a lot, but that one was there. And for some reason the Dad just hung out with this called the kuaka all the time, which kind of worried us a little bit because it meant that Mum was all by herself. But disaster. 1 week old, Rich and I went down onto the beach as we did every morning, and we found these 2 on the dunes. The third one was never found. They were quite malnourished. We've got no idea. We, of course, contacted John Dowding, who said he thought that even though the beach is so busy, they do go out during the evening and feed. They could feed all night long. So there was really no explanation. He was as gobsmacked by it by we were. Could have been a disease, but we're just not sure. But the parents didn't give up. And 6 weeks later, they had 3 more chicks, which was great. And so we really stepped up our efforts. This time we roped off the area on the beach. And that really, really helped, because before people were driving right past and walking right past and everything. And after that, we didn't see many dog or people footprints in their area. The other thing we did was talk to hundreds of dog owners and ask them to put their dogs on lead on the main beach. And even though Bethells is supposed to be dogs on leads during the summertime, no one's ever asked people to do this, so it was a really big thing. It was really hard for us to do this. We got probably 95% of people were really fantastic about it. 5%, well, 3% were not so nice, and 2% were downright nasty. And of course, they're the ones you remember. They did make it really, really hard, and not all of them complied. This is, you know, we'd often hear about this thing, and what we needed really more than anything is people who will go and say to someone like that, can you please put your dog on a lead? You know, we just approach people always in a positive way, but lots of people would say, oh, we saw dogs on the beach off lead, but we're like, please, could you go and talk to them? Just don't leave it all to us, because it's just too much. So the other thing we did was contact a reporter at the Herald, and he wrote a fantastic article. I don't know how many of you saw it, but you can Google it. It's all about Dotterels in general, but mainly about Henga, so that was a really helpful thing. But sadly, first one, then the second, Dotterel disappeared. The third one hung on for 3 weeks, and we were really hoping, because by 3 weeks they're pretty strong, they know a bit more about the world, and we thought maybe it would survive, but blow me down, it died as well. So, what went wrong? Too many dogs on the beach. We do get a lot of dogs at Bethells, and it's a really, I mean, we really need a lot more help from the council, and they don't seem to be able to give it to us. So we're always going to be fighting that battle. The kelp on the beach is a bit tricky because people like to take it for compost. And in fact, last year I went to a composting workshop down at the surf club, and they said, oh, and you can take the kelp off the beach. And I jumped up and down, and I wrote to the council and said to them, look, please don't encourage people taking kelp off the beach. And I never had a response, so I don't know whether they still say take kelp off the beach. It's a bird cafe. I mean, if you pick up kelp, you're going to see all those beautiful little hoppers underneath it. All the shorebirds need it, but especially dotterels. And then cows on the beach, you can see how close those tracks are to our little shelter. And we'll wake up in the morning sometimes and find that. Again, it's illegal. There are no vehicles allowed on the beach except, you know, rescue vehicles. It's a tricky thing. People on the beach. West Auckland's population is really growing apace. Get more and more people coming out here. And then 3 other possible things. The killer cats. We do see, occasionally you will see or hear of a cat on the dune. Should we be asking people to try and keep their cats inside overnight when it's breeding season? Are we willing to try? You know, it's another big ramp up for us to be doing. Black-backed gulls, they can gulp down 3 chicks in one go, and we often say to people, oh, they'll say, my dog won't do anything, and we'll say, yes, but if your dog distracts the adults, then the black-backed gulls, who are always ready for a snack, will just swoop in, gulp, 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 the 3 chicks will be gone, so that's pretty devastating. And harrier hawks, of course, we can't do anything about, they fly over the dunes from time to time. Some things that went well, we had lots of people involved. Social media, of course, Facebook, which I hate in some ways, but it's fantastic for this kind of thing. Many of the dog walkers were so cooperative. Roping off the Dotterel area was great. The council rangers, once they came, they didn't start until about December, and so we had a couple of months when we really needed them and they weren't there. It's a special summer ranger program. Council support from Chris Bindon was amazing. We really raised the consciousness, and people are really more aware of dotterels now. People often say to us they'd seen dotterels here, or they've heard about them there, or our dotterels are down there, which is neat. And community support from Bethells was really fantastic, and trapping in and around the dunes has been ongoing, as I said, for a long, long time, and it's definitely helping. So 2020, this is normally what Rich and I are doing in October. Every year we go to Argentina, where our daughter lives with her Argentinian husband, so we're normally drinking wine, and it's a little bit tricky trying to fit the dotterels in around them, but of course this year we will be devoted to the dotterels. And here are a couple of things that would help would be definitely to get more minders to talk to people on the beach, talk to people in the walkway, and so if any of you would like to join us, if you live out that way, it would be really fantastic. Ian was great that he publicised it a bit, and so for our walkway thing we did get a few people come down and help us, because it's just a very, very big job. We didn't really realise how big it would be, and it's also so devastating, you know, when all 6 chicks die, you were just like, oh my God. So it would be great to share a little bit, and we just want to continue building on our good relationships with the council and visitors. And People are still keeping their dogs on leads a bit, which is helpful. I just took this photo yesterday from I was up on a hill and I could see this big going past. And so it's quite good that some people are still, even though it's not really on lead time at the moment, people are still being quite helpful in their way. Yep, and I'm done. Special thanks and cheers.